Today I'm giving you a super quick update on everything that I've been knitting on this week. So grab a cup of something and let's dive in. Welcome back, friends. If you are new here, my name is Melissa. I am the dyer behind Rising Tide Fiber Company. And this is my little corner of the internet where I talk about what am I working on, what am I reading, what might I be watching, that sort of thing. So let's dive in. Finished objects. The first finished object that I do believe I showed you last week was my DK weight socks for the weekly advent I'm doing, inspired by the Vampire Knitting Club books, the first 4 books. I did finish my first pair. So this is week 1. This is DK weight yarn. I used a US 3. I use a 9-inch circular. I cast on 48 stitches. I do 2x2 ribbing for 1 inch. For these, I did 5 inches of a sock. I do have enough left over that on my next pair, I can probably do 6 inches and be just fine. I do a slip stitch, heel, flap, and then turn my heel. And then for my shoe size, I do 7 1/4 from my heel turn all the way down to where I start decreasing for my toe. I did not get the second pair cast on. You'll see that I've made a lot of progress on a few other projects this week. I do have a couple that are now under a bit of a deadline. The other project that I finished was my can cozy using the main character, the leftover sock yarn that I had from main character. And I did this on a US 1. Now I will say that going back, because the pattern is written to have like stripes and stuff, I missed a sentence or two at the bottom of a page that said I needed to decrease my stitches before I did my I-cord bind off. So I may go back and do it, but quite honestly, it fits just fine. When I take it off, though, it does kind of flare a little bit. It has been living on this can all week while I decide what I want to do. But I love it. It's adorable. I think it's going to come in handy for my sparkling water. So I'm not mad. I just don't know if I want to undo that I-cord bind off and go back so that it will sit a little snugger at the top. That's all I actually finished for the week, but I did make some significant progress on a couple of other projects. I did not touch either one of my test knits. In fact, I haven't even dyed the yarn for the one that goes with Samantha Guerin, that bandana cow, and the other test knit for the vest for Claire Jackson with Perfectly Knotted. I haven't touched that one at all. But moving into whips, I have 2 projects that I have consistently worked on all week. The first one is I did start my Raven socks. You can see all my little ends. We'll just tuck those inside for now. But I am almost done. So you can see that I cast it on in the black, and then I did 1 round in black, and then it looks like I did 5 rows of white, 2 rows of purple, 2 rows of white, 2 rows of black, 2 rows of white, 2 rows of the main color, and then I just kept going in my main color. I cast these on a US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle. I do use 9-inch circulars. That's my preferred method. I just have a couple more inches to do on the foot, and then I'll be ready to reduce down to the toe. My plan is to do them like I did my Oriole socks, where my toe is also striped as well. So this is what I'm hoping they will turn out to look like. And I have a show next weekend, so that's why I have put so much into this sock, is because now I'm a little bit under the wire. The other project that I have put an immense amount of time into is my Night Lights Shawl by Andrea Mowry. So the last time we chatted, I was right here. I had done the whole, boy, we got some yarn management issues here. I had gotten to the halfway point, and as you can see from the halfway point, I have made considerable progress, I think. I want to say it's a 16 row repeat for this, and I think I have 11 more repeats to go. But mind you, it's going to be a lot of short repeats. Like, I'm already starting to feel how short they are because, I started a row. Good for me. So you can see it's not very wide. So to do 11 repeats, I'm hoping to have some downtime this weekend to really get this finished, and then the beginning of the week, block it, weave in my ends, and then it's ready to go out to the mobile trailer for my yarn show this week. I am using a US 6, which is a 4 millimeter needle. I have been using Silver Linings and Petal Power as my two colors. It did originally call for like a spin cycle, a color changing yarn, but I really wanted to see what it would look like if I just chose a variegated yarn with a tonal. And I'm actually quite pleased with the end result. So I'm anxious to get this off the needle. I have been really putting in some time in the evenings to power through this so that I can get it done. That's really all that I have been working on. So I finished a pair of socks, finished a can cozy, started a sock, and really powered through my shawl. That's all the knitting that I've done. So that's going to take me into what am I watching? So as for watching, like many of you probably are, I was a huge Diane Keaton fan. So I was really disheartened to hear that, we as a society lost one of the greats at such a young age. I think it may have hit me a little, not really harder, but I think because she was 79 and my parents are 74 and 75, it rubs a little differently. So I spent the weekend, we had really cruddy weather here with just really overcast, cooler temperatures. There was some sort of storm movement on the East Coast. So it was kind of drizzly. It wasn't really raining. It was just that misty, like trying to rain for parts of the weekend. So I spent this weekend when I had free time, curled up with the dogs, watching Diane Keaton movies. I watched Baby Boom, which is probably my all-time favorite, because I said so. Father of the Bride. What else did I watch? Oh, I watched one that her counterpart was Michael Douglas. I think it's called As It Goes. I'll put it up on the screen, whatever it is. I started I didn't quite get through it, but Crimes of the Heart, which had Sissy Spacek and Jessica Lange in it. I think it's from the 70s. So really, I just watched what I could find. Now, I must say, with all the streaming services that we have these days, I was really disheartened to see so many of her movies behind an additional paywall. Meaning, like, if I went to Amazon Prime, there was a good portion of them that I would have to pay for in order to watch. And sure, I had credits, that kind of thing. But it was like this weird game of bouncing between streaming services to figure out who had what for free that I could watch. It really made me miss the days of VHS and DVD. Like, if we still lived in that world, I'd have all those movies and I could just be popping them in. So I'm feeling a certain kind of way about streaming services these days. If you had asked me 20 years ago, I would have told you I hated paying for cable. I always wanted things to be a la carte, which that has come to fruition for me. I don't have to pay for cable. I can just pay for whatever channel like that I want. However, I don't like paying for a streaming service and then having things behind another paywall. That's just annoying. As for reading, I am still reading Autumn Nights Holiday Lights by Ellie Douglas. And again, that is the book I've been reading when I go to bed at night. I've been really tired, so I find myself not reading for more than 5 or 10 minutes before I'm putting my Kindle down and going to sleep. I have finished a audiobook. I finished Evie Drake Starts Over by Linda Holmes. This was a really sweet book. It had some hard-hitting topics in it. This is the one with the dog. I think there was a dog in this one. And if you know anything about me, for those of you who have been here for a while, you know that I'm a big dog person. This was a really great audiobook. It was narrated by Julia Whalen, which I'm a huge fan of hers. So I think somehow it kind of snuck under the radar. I usually try to listen to most of what she narrates. And the newest book that I am listening to is Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. I just have a couple more days of this before my library loan is up, and there are people waiting for it. This is the third installment in this. I don't think it's a series. I would consider it more of like companion novels. Like, I don't have to have read the first two in order to read this book, though I have read those books, but I'm not discovering it revealing too much of anything. Kennedy Ryan, once again, another author who writes contemporary fiction, romance. She really has some underlying topics. I will say this one, our female main character is struggling with her mom having early onset Alzheimer's. And so if you've experienced that, I think it's going to hit a little differently for you. If you are going through that now, if that's the season of life you're in, I don't know that you would necessarily want to pick up this book because it might just be too close to home. But I am loving this novel. I suspect in the end it's going to be a 5-star read for me. And that's pretty much all that I'm reading. As for shop updates, next Saturday, October 25th, is the Frederick Fiber Festival from 9 to 4 p.m. at the Frederick County Fairgrounds. That's where you will find me, along with many other mobile yarn trucks and many other yarn vendors. But again, there are fiber vendors. There are vendors there for pickles, tea, wine, beer, all kinds of things. I think there might even be a nut vendor. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. There'll be mobile food trucks. There will probably be a bouncy house. There will be sheep. There will be goats. There will be all the things. It's a very family-friendly event. Well worth the trip if you're within a few hours of those fairgrounds. Come on out. It's a one-day event. I promise you it's a good time. As for life news, not a ton going on here. Paisley turned 6 months old on the 14th, and then the following day, which was yesterday when I'm filming, I had her spayed. It sounds like she was kind of the darling of the day. They told me they just thought she was the cutest, and she was so petite and little, and they gave her all this extra attention. She came out like a champ. I mean, she had quite some pep to her step. That was kind of nice. I did not really have a groggy puppy last night. I mean, I did a little bit, obviously, but she was not as zonked out as some of my others have been. I have a sedative every day for like the next week to try and keep her from bouncing all over the place. And that's about it. Not a whole lot going on here. Just trying to finish up Advent, get ready for my show next Saturday. So I'd love to know, if you were a Diane Keaton fan, what was your favorite Diane Keaton movie? Go ahead and comment down below. I'd love to hear what others had as a favorite. And if you don't have a favorite Diane Keaton movie, maybe you aren't a fan, and maybe you're not up for commenting, you can leave me a yarn ball emoji to let me know that you made it through to the end. So until next time, friends, happy making.